Welcome to Paranormal Adventures. Do you like scary ghost stories? Do you like haunted history? Because if there's ghosts involved, there's most likely a history and a past that led you to them ghosts. So stay tuned to this paranormal podcast where we'll be discussing your scary stories from around the world and from right here in our local town. So stay tuned. Also like us on Facebook at facebook.com/paranormaladventuresonline, and there you'll find a way to go to our website. There you'll find more information about us and some show notes if ever I have some available. So stay tuned and listen to Paranormal Adventures. The exact date of the foundation of this church is unknown, but it's said to be around 1886. It was originally named the New High Tower Baptist Church. It was officially used as a normal congregation, but it was said to be in the night a barrier of satanic worship. This supposedly happened for over a century in tradition. There were several deaths and ritual sacrifices, as well as drownings in the baptismal pool, which still exists today. Eventually, in the 1990s, a teenage boy sought vengeance on the members of the cult for using his father for one of these sacrifices. He and two accomplices proceed to go out to the church in the night and burn it to the ground. There is no solid proof about the satanic practices. However, there are numerous reports over the years of people lingering at the church in the dead of night and several deaths in the area. It should also be noted that, strangely, nearly all the graves of the church cemetery are of deaths either extremely old or extremely young. There has since been a need to build this on the same church grounds, which is still in use to this day. There is also a large oak tree which is rumored to be haunted and it's called the Bleeding Tree, which several people said to be hung there. And doing a little bit more research of this church, I have found that they still meet, and they meet on the 1st and 5th Sunday of the month.
Driving down the long, winding country roads of Cherokee County, a small single-congregation church emerges from the wilderness. Despite the appearances of a quaint, rural Georgia Baptist church, the story of these grounds are rooted in a macabre and grisly past. According to the legends, which date back to the early 80s, this area served as a ritualistic killing ground for the occult and satanic groups. The most famous of these killings involved the mutilation of a young boy. Supposedly, these events resulted in the church being shut down, and since then, the locals refer to this area as Hell Church. New High Tower Baptist Church here in Canton, Georgia. Allegedly, there used to be a lot of satanic, ritualistic sacrifices on this ground, and the original church was burned and decimated by vandals in the early 90s, and there's an artifact to commemorate that, which I thought was pretty interesting. In the winters of 1990, the church fell victim to numerous vandalisms, arsonery, and even the destruction of the tombstones. This eventually resulted in the church's condemnation. These tragic events would be forever forgotten if it weren't for an ominous relic from the past etched in stone. To the left side of the church, a walking trail extends to the far reaches of the forest, coming to a sudden arrival of a baptism pool dating to the 1800s, which has long since been desecrated by symbols of the occult. Positioned 2 to 3 miles away from any house or building, the Hell Church conjures an uncomfortable atmosphere that many visitors describe as suffocating or claustrophobic. Whether or not these grounds truly are tainted by the spirits that have long since passed, one thing remains certain. If there is any evil to be found within this world, it is to be found within the living and not the dead.
Thank you for listening to this podcast today on Paranormal Adventures Online. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, give us a like and subscribe. Stay tuned for the next episode of Paranormal Adventures Online, and I'll be posting that episode on Facebook as well. So tell all your friends about us, and like us on facebook.com/paranormaladventuresonline.